Traditional savings can be a trap disguised as virtue. At first glance, it seems harmless, even commendable, as a symbol of discipline and economy. However, when we look deeper, we realize that the seemingly innocent habit can be one of the biggest obstacles to true prosperity. Each currency kept with the illusion of building wealth, in fact, may be driving you away from it. There is an old wisdom that compares money to water. When the water is stagnant in a container, it loses its vitality. It becomes blurred and eventually becomes unfit for consumption. But when it flows, irrigating the earth, it generates life and abundance. The same is true of money. When it stands, it loses its potential. When it circulates, it creates opportunities. Many cultures, especially Jewish tradition, have always seen savings with caveats. For children, it can be an educational tool, teaching the value of planning. However, when an adult turns savings into his main financial method, he risks stagnating his own life. Money was not made to be accumulated without purpose. It was made to be invested, multiplied, and placed in motion. Modern researchers confirm this idea. Authors like Morgan Housel point out that wealth is not measured by the amount of money saved, but the way it is used. Parented money is like a seed buried in a chest. It will never germinate. Already the money in motion, whether in investments, education, or business, becomes something larger, generating real value. Savings often reflect a hidden fear of the future, distrust in their own capabilities, the illusion that security comes only from accumulation. But true security is not keeping every penny, but how to make you work to your advantage. Those who live for fear of spending or investing ends up trapped in a scarcity cycle, while those who learn to direct their resources build a more solid future. Imagine the story of a tailor that for years kept coins in a clay jar. He was proud to see his treasure grow, believing that one day those economies would make him rich. However, while he fed his savings, others invested in learning, opened business, or bought goods to resell. Over time, your pot was full, but your life remained the same. His son, one day, asked him, "Father, why do you keep these coins here?" The tailor replied, "To ensure a better future." The son then took the coins and said, "But this money does not teach me anything, does not feed our family or open doors. It only makes the clay heavier." This simple observation reveals a deep truth. Parade money does not build wealth. It only creates the illusion of security. Just like a wagon wheel that does not spout and loses its function, money that does not circulate loses its transformation power. Modern philosophers and economists reinforce this idea. James Clear, in his studies on habits, shows that the discipline of saving money is only useful if it is connected to a greater purpose. If the goal is just to add a pile of coins, the habit becomes sterile. Much more valuable is to cultivate the discipline of learning, innovating, and creating value. Jewish tradition brings a similar teaching. Do not bury your talent. Purpose saved money is like a seed buried in a chest. It rots instead of fruiting. True richness is born when money is sown in knowledge, relationships, and enterprises, and not when it is hidden. Many people are proud to have a full savings, but keep complaining about the lack of money. They do not realize that poverty persists precisely because wealth only blooms where there is movement. In an ancient Jerusalem market, the story of a merchant who kept each coin in a chest under the ground was told. He believed he would be protected, but when difficult times came, his coins lost value, and he got a chest full of useless metal. Meanwhile, other traders invested part of their profits in new products, educated their children, and helped the community. His money worked, creating prosperity cycles, such as the waves that form when a stone is thrown into the water. The lesson is clear. Wealth is not synonymous with accumulation, but a multiplication through the movement. Money is like a guest. If you lock him, he leaves disappointed. If you receive it and direct you to something useful, it comes back accompanied by more opportunities. Psychologists like Daniel Kahneman explain that many people prefer the illusion of safety to the real risk of growing. But it is precisely the movement, even with its risks, that strengthens. As Nassim Taleb says, what moves adapts, what stands to break down. An old practice, such as tithing, illustrates this principle. When sharing a part of what you have, it is not lost, but a flow begins. Money is no longer an idol and becomes a tool. Poverty persists where there is fear. Prosperity is born where there is the courage to make money circulate. Ask yourself, are your economy standing like a stone or flowing like a river? The answer will determine if you are building wealth or just feeding the illusion of security. In a small village of Eastern Europe, a grandmother taught her grandchildren a simple lesson. Saving serves to keep coins, but true wealth is born when they are put to work. She showed the children a grain of wheat stored in a chest. After a month, he rotted. However, when planted, it multiplied in dozens of new grains. This is the metaphor of money. A savings is like a grain chest. There is something inside, but nothing new is created. Already an investment in a business and knowledge were in people is like planting a seed. A grain can become 10. Wealth does not come from accumulation, but from fertility. Money, like seeds, exists to generate fruits, not to rot in a closed container. Carol Dweck, in her studies on growth mentality, shows that those who believe in development always seek ways to multiply what they have. Even small investments, made consistently, can turn a currency into a source of great value. Ancient wisdom said, give the 10th part so that the remaining 9 are blessed. The meaning is clear. Money needs to circulate to multiply. If the cycle is interrupted, wealth dies, like the grain in the chest. Poverty never leaves those who are afraid to sow. While some hold their seeds with fear, others are already harvesting. Reflect, in your life, what predominates: sterile savings for the fertile field where money can grow. Your answer will reveal whether you are in the path of prosperity or just keeping poverty in your hands. In the same village, he lived a woman named Rachel. She kept each coin and a can under the bed, repeating, I need to save if things get worse. But things got worse just because their money didn't work. She couldn't afford medical treatment, nor help her children start a business because she was afraid to release even a small part of what she had gathered. Her neighbor acted differently. She invested in her son's education, helped others, and reinvested her husband's work. Although they started with the same resources, the neighbor's house prospered, while Rachel's can was full but her life empty. The final message is unambiguous. Wealth is not built with what is kept, but with what is circular. Money is energy. When it flows, it creates more energy. When it stands, it loses its power. The choice is yours, to be like Rachel, with a full can and a stagnant life, or as its neighbor, which turned each coin into a seed of prosperity. True wealth is not what you keep, but what you work for. Money is not amulet, it is a tool. When we treat him as a talisman, he only generates fear. When we use it as an instrument, it creates freedom. Modern philosophers and thinkers make it clear. Ryan Holiday recalls, the obstacle is the way. Resources must find challenges to grow. Cal Newport, in Deep Work, states, attention is an asset. When you combine it with money, it generates value that multiplies. The Jewish tradition already said, don't hide the light under the bushel. What should shine cannot be hidden. Money is light. You must illuminate life, not rot in a can under the bed. Reflect, what do you have today in your hands, tool or amulet? If it is a tool, it will lead to abundance. If it's amulet, you will keep you in scarcity. We analyze the stories of the tailor, the merchant, the grandmother, and the Rachel. All have a common point: savings, which seemed guarantee of the future, became armadillo. He taught to keep it, but not to multiply. It fed fear, not the movement. Jewish wisdom has always seen beyond. Money is like water. Grain or light should flow, nourish, illuminate. Water stops stopping. Spored grain spoils. Hidden light goes out. The same goes for money. Modern ideas echo this truth. Morgan Housel states, wealth is behavior, not bank balance. Nassim Taleb highlights, movement strengthens the system. Stagnation destroys you. Carol Dweck teaches that growth begins when we stop temor and start acting. The conclusion is simple. Savings does not eliminate poverty, it feeds it. Real wealth is born where money circulates, in learning, at work, helping others, investments, value creation. If you want to ward off the scarcity, stop idolizing the can of coins. It serves to teach a child to count change, but it is lethal for those who want to transform their destination. Remember, poverty does not cling to your wallet but to mind. Where there is a habit of hiding, there is no growth. Where there is a habit of directing, prosperity comes. Words and stories matter, but they only come to life when they become action. So it's time for a practical plan that you can start today. First step, look at your savings. It can be a can, a wallet, or an account where the money is still. Remove a part and point where it will start working, even if it is a small value. What matters is movement, not the size. Second step, invest in you. Buy a book, take a fast course, take a step that widens your knowledge. Like a seed, this gesture does not bear immediate fruit, but changes the soil of your life. Step third, share with others. Help a person or a community. The tradition of Jewish tithing is based on it. Wealth lives where there is flow. Money used for good always returns multiplied. Step fourth, plan where your money will go in the next 30 days. Do not leave it without purpose. Each currency must have a function, each reel one way. This can be done in half an hour, and it will be the beginning of the change in your trajectory. No matter how much you have today, It matters how it directs what it has. A small amount in motion creates new realities. A great stop kills hope. Savings are not a symbol of discipline. The real discipline is knowing how to guide the money to build life. It does not kill wealth for the lack of coins, but to hide them from life. Poverty never lets those who fear to let go. It persists for people keep the money dead instead of letting it be reborn in actions, knowledge, and help to others. Ancient wisdom teaches the blessing comes where there is flow. Money should move like water, bear fruit like grain, illuminate as light. Only then becomes wealth. Current thinkers add, discipline is not accumulating for fear but systematizing to grow. The meaning is not in the amount of coins, but what you do with them. Wealth is born of responsibility, attention, and action. You are not weak, you just forgot the power of discipline with purpose. Today has a chance to rescue it. Subscribe to this channel and comment. What are you willing to release from your savings right now to make your money work for you? This will be your first step towards true abundance.